I hope you are becoming more aware of how important your mind is, of how important your thoughts are, how important it is for you to think on a higher frequency. That's what he was talking about. If we change our thinking, we change our life. He just was saying it from a different perspective, from a different angle. But again, it's all the same conversation. It's all the same conversation. Making a decision is a habit. Being decisive, just I made this decision to go this direction. That's all, right? I made the decision to go this direction. I made the decision to do this. Then I figure out the how. Then I figure out the who. In Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he talks about being decisive, making a decision. He also says that indecision is a habit as well. We have to understand how habits are formed. Habits are formed just by the continuing of doing an action. I talk about this in the money space. I say people don't understand that saving is a habit. It's not a dollar amount. Most people build the opposite habit. We save and then we touch our savings. We save some and then we're like, oh, I need it. And when you do that for 10, 15, 20, 30 years of your life, you just build a negative habit of saving and touching. So I try to teach people how to save and not touch. By starting small, put a little bit over there. You don't need any money. So you build the habit of saving. This is what he's talking about. Making a decision is a habit, but also being indecisive is a habit. It's something you learn over time that you keep practicing. You don't make the decision. You don't make the radical decision. You don't choose to leave your job or quit your thing or do your thing, right? Like you don't make the decision. That becomes its own habit. So evaluate in yourself. Which habit are you operating out of more? Are you decisive when you make the decision when it comes to your health life, your faith life, your family life, your relationships, your money, your business? Or do you make the decision, or are we over on the indecisive side where we're like, let me see, I'll figure it out, maybe, I'm not sure, and we just play in the middle? Bob Proctor is telling you that making a decision is a habit, and if you make it a habit, it changes your life, right? Levels of frequency and awareness. I hope you understood what he was talking about there. We think at the level of our awareness. That's why when we listen to 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, they talk about raising your level of conscious awareness, raising your level of thinking, right? And he gave a great description there that if your goal is up here, the thing that you want is up there, and your thinking is down here, you have to raise your thinking to the same frequency that your goal is. That's this process, y'all. That's what I'm taking you through. Raise our awareness, raise our level of thinking, shift how we think to get to the life that we want. That's the goal. If you have the vision, if it's already written down, you know what it is. Just like he said, you can bring it closer to you. It's way far out there. Now, because it's in my mind's eye, I can see it. I can bring it really close. Now, I have to raise my level of thinking, my level of awareness, my frequency. All of those things are the same. If I raise that to where the goal is, then I'll think thoughts that will bring that goal towards me. I know, sounds really hokey pokey, right? It's not all this stuff that's super concrete that people really can grasp. But the reason why you hear it over and over again is because this is how it works. We think on the level of our environment, typically, of people that we're around, of what we consume. That's how we're thinking. So if we want to get to the next level, we got to raise our level of frequency, raise our level of awareness. We got to use those higher faculties he talked about. The higher faculties, your will, your reason, your imagination, your intuition. Those are the things that God gifted us with that maybe another species doesn't have. That we get to create the future because we have higher faculties. We have reason, we have will, we have imagination. We have things in our mind that we can turn into the physical if that's where we are working. If that's where you're working in your life, is up here. and saying, okay, I have these ideas. I have this. Ooh, I can see that. That's the man I want to be. That's the woman I want to be. Okay, that's the type of car I drive. That's the house I have. That's what my relationships are like. Okay, I can see that. Now we go to work, becoming that person. We go to work becoming that person. All this stuff deals with your belief system, what you believe in your mind will help you then start to achieve those things, right? It's a belief system. Again, these are just reminders. We've talked about this over and over again. We constantly talk about this stuff. It's all the same things. And in our text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, it says the good and great are separated by a razor's edge, separated by just a small, thin line. That's why the stuff I repeat to you are the things that seem so simple or seem so easy, but they're really the great separator. These things about making a decision, about thinking on a higher level, on consuming new things, about changing your belief systems, right? These are like the small things that separate the good and the great. But because we're on the path to greatness, you got to understand that you got to apply these things. You got to apply these things. Here's what it says in this chapter of the text. It says, average people tend to believe world-class performers are so superior, so far out in front, so much smarter and more talented that there's absolutely no way they could become one. And that's not true. It's not even close. The truth, as the evidence in this book suggests, is there's really only a razor's edge separating the good from the great, or the middle class from the world class. Granted, it's a razor's edge in many different areas, a series of critical subtleties that make all the difference. The real question this book presents to middle class performers is this: is it possible for a person of average intelligence and modest means to ascend to the throne of the world class? The answer is an enthusiastic yes. Of course it's possible. The question is not one of possibility, but of will. Higher faculty. Question is not of possibility, but of will. History has shown us the majority of people will not rise up and take the challenge. They could, they have the intelligence and the potential, yet they won't. It's not because they lack desire, but because they don't believe it's possible. They're tired of being disappointed. It's easier to simply turn on the television or engage in some other mind-numbing activity. Could they alter their level of expectation and forge ahead? You bet. Through language change and visualization, they could artificially manufacture a higher level of expectation regardless of where they are now. Again, the statistics say most will never attempt it. When you go pro, it's much easier to compete against amateurs. At the risk of sounding preachy, I have been both an amateur and a pro, and I highly recommend going pro emotionally and mentally. It's actually more comfortable after you cross the barrier. How do you go pro? It's simple. You decide to do it. Period. Then just go back through this book with a highlighter and model the thought processes, habits, and philosophies of the great ones. Couple things to solidify what Bob Proctor was saying. How do you go pro? How do you separate yourself? Become great, get into the world class. How do you do it? It says here, it's simple. Make a decision. Just decide to do it. You don't got to think about the how or the what this and all. Just you've made the decision. Remember, decision making is a habit. Being indecisive is a habit also. So make the decision to do it. Make the decision to start the business. Make the decision to quit your job. Make the decision to change your health. Make the decision to fix your relationship. Just make the decision first, because it's a part of your vision, because it's a part of something that you feel that you want. You got to make a decision first, then let all the things catch up to it. Then figure out the resources, then figure out the plan. And don't let the plan then deter you. After you make the decision, and then you start getting into this, and then you're like, oh man, this is harder than I thought. How committed were you to your decision? If you commit to climbing Mount Everest, you don't know how hard it's going to be at the top. But when you get, a quarter of a mile up, and you're like, this is harder than I thought. Was your commitment strong? Was your decision making ability strong, or did you have something that wavered you? It's a decision, and then you follow up that decision by action. It's one thing I want y'all to understand. Decision making is a habit, and it's a process that you have to adapt. This is that razor's edge, right? The other thing that I pointed out to you, is it possible? Remember, we got to know that everything you want is possible. Everything you see in your mind's eye is a vision that God has given you and maybe no one else, meaning it is possible for you. If you can see it, then it's possible. The other side is, like it says, it's not a question of possibility, but of will. Are you using the higher faculties in order to pursue the life you don't need a break from? Or are you taking the same routes? Are you thinking the same thoughts? Are you doing the same things? Are you around the same people, taking the same information to get the same results? It's not a matter of possibility, because it's possible. Anything you think of is possible. It's a matter of will, your will to go after that thing, to struggle, to sacrifice, to have setbacks, to fail, to get back up, to like it's a willpower. It's your will. These are the separators, y'all. These are the separators. This is just the reminder. This is stuff you already know. But these are the separators. This is not about possibility. It's about your will. This is about your decision making. This is about your habits. So as we head into a brand new year, right? We only got 2 weeks left in this year. As we head into 2026, what decisions do you need to make to take your life to that next level? What decisions have you been avoiding? Have you been kind of tiptoeing around, playing the middle, being lukewarm, right? What areas of your life have you just not fully made the decision? And I would challenge you to make that decision. I would challenge you to make that decision, right? Sooner rather than later, before the new year starts. How you end this year is how you're going to start next year. So you might as well end this year making some solid commitments and decisions about your life, about your health, about your faith, about your finances, about your business, whatever, right? Make some decisions, because it's going to be the thing that gets you there. Here's this quote. It says here, desire plus sacrifice plus discipline equals preparation. Preparation plus success equals confidence. Mental toughness plus pride equals perseverance. If you have confidence and persevere, you will always have the edge. If you have the edge, you will succeed eventually. Eventually. Not in your time, in God's time. You continue to do the work. Work as if it's up to you. Pray as if it's up to Him. You just keep doing the stuff. You keep practicing the stuff. You never stop practicing. This is why I push back against Wednesday hump days. This is why I push back, because you never stop, right? Like it's just a constant. By the way, if the rest of the world thinks of Wednesday as a hump day, or Monday as a day they don't like, or Friday they can't wait to get off of work, I know, right? I've been talking to a bunch of like teachers and stuff as I coach them, right? So a lot of people are getting ready for this winter break. They're like, I can't wait, right? Like, so productivity just completely falls off. Productivity in this probably for the rest of this year, like the rest of this week into next week, because then it's Christmas, and then into New Year's, productivity just falls off. People aren't focused on their job, on what they need to do. But that can't be us. You have to be focused on your personal growth and your personal development every day. We don't take time off from this, because what separates us is just a razor's edge. It's just a thin margin. We got to make sure that we are the people on the other side of that, going to greatness. Action step for today says, conduct a critical analysis of yourself as a performer. Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 7, 7 be the highest, in terms of the following habits: sacrifice, discipline, confidence, pride, mental toughness. Where do you rate yourself in your habits? Sacrifice, of discipline, confidence, mental toughness. Like where do you rate yourself? And can you take today to make a conscious decision to say, you know what? I'm not going to be indecisive in this area. I'm going to make this decision. That's what we're going for. Let's go do it. Okay. Now I made the decision. Now we start figuring out how to vibrate at a higher frequency, raise our level of conscious awareness so that we can now vibrate at that level, so we can get all the things that we want, y'all. That's how it works. Easier said than done. I got it. I got it. But it's worth it. So we got to go do it. All right. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. Nobody tells you. I'll constantly tell you because you got to keep fighting for this thing. The people around you might not get it, but we're a community of people that do get it, and we want to make it happen. So you got to go do the work. It's too crowded down at the bottom. You got to get to the top. All right. Go out here and make it happen this Wednesday. Push yourself out your comfort zone. I'll see you back here on Friday. Love you guys. Take care.